Hi, it's Denise. Welcome to my home. Well, golly, the day got away from me, but I did do quite a lot. Um, it is 5 o'clock. And what I'd like to do today is finish up that wreath. Um, and hopefully, it'll be something that you enjoy watching. Uh, if you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Y'all mean a lot to me. You really do. Um, I want to share the different adventures that I have that I've started doing since the videos. I had never made jewelry before. I had made wreaths before. I had done stenciling in a very, very long time and only did a little bit of it. I've had an opportunity to try and do quite a lot. This is a necklace that I think I'm done with it. This was a piece that I got at Habitat, and it was like a double, triple type chain thing. So I used the chain and made this. The earrings I already had, but they're also from Habitat. I'll be making earrings that match this. I just haven't done it yet. There are quite a few other things that I've finished, and we'll do a video about that also. I wanted to tell you, with wearing a scarf, it's really made a difference in my hair. The wigs that I couldn't wear before, I feel like I can wear them now with, and they look okay. This is one of the curly ones, and when I put the band on it, I thought, well, that looks pretty good. So that's what I'm wearing today. Have you had a good day? It's really warm. It's still 80 degrees and it's 5:30. And I know that it probably gets warmer in the afternoon. And it's such a nice change from having cold weather. I haven't finished answering all of my comments yet, or all of the comments that you all have left. I've done some, but I haven't done all of them. Please be praying for me. Hunter, come on now. Be a good boy. Just pray for me. Thank you. I went back to, this is the wreath so far. I haven't done any more since I started it. And it's going to hang this way. When I went back to Dollar Tree, I needed 2 more. I had another roll of this net, and I needed 2 more, and they only had 1 more. So I had to buy more pansies. And I really like their pansies. There's some flowers that I'm not crazy about. I don't like artificial flowers normally very much. But these are really nice. They're really pretty. And I have more of the fern that I was using. So I'll be putting more flowers in here also. What I'd like to do now, though, is show you what I do with the netting. I've got this stuff everywhere, and I didn't wind up using it. This is the tape. And it's just unrolled and unrolled and unrolled. I suppose if I had to put it away, it probably wouldn't do this. I do put some stuff away. I really do. I have a doctor's appointment at the end of the month. I dread going. I just do. There's nothing wrong. Um, it's just one of those appointments that says I've checked in. Um, so I'll be going on the 30th, I think. The 30th? So that's next week. I need to look into making my appointment for transportation. I'm very blessed to have that, to where my insurance company pays for transportation for me. Jesse might take me, depending on... My insurance company pays a dividend if you provide your own transportation. So we'll see. These are the rest of the pansies and the ferns. I don't think I'll use all these pansies. Not on this, anyway. And I have this. These come in 5-yard rolls. And I generally use 10 yards in a wreath, but it was a smaller wreath. It didn't occur to me that this was going to take more. It should have occurred to me, but I guess it didn't. I would say that it's probably going to take 20 yards unless you wind up putting more flowers in it. And you can. I'm going to go ahead and aim this down so you can see what I'm doing. Now, I kind of use a feel method rather than a measuring method. I would say that what I'm going to do first is cut a bunch of these. Some people use twist ties. Not twist ties, zip ties. And I tried it, and it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. So, and maybe it's because that's what I've always used as the wire. But I tried. I cut my wire probably longer than what you would need to, because of my mobility thing. I don't know if it's so much a mobility thing. It's just having the ability to tie it off. I need to have quite a bit left over. So I would say that it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, maybe 4.5 inches what I cut. I found also that the real fine wire doesn't work as well for me as the heavier wire, and there again I think it's because of the dexterity. And if you decide to make a wreath, you can try the twist tie, or not the twist ties, gosh, I said that again, the zip ties, if you want to. The first attempt that I made with a wreath was a dismal failure, and I had to kind of figure out on my own how to do this. So this is my way. This stuff frays badly, so my thought was, you know, what can I do to not have to cut it? So it's a process of tying it with the wire and then bunching it up. And I'll show you. It's not hard to do. kind of fun to make pretty things like this. I don't have a wreath on my door. I had made one, a spring wreath, a great big one, and we had a windstorm, and it got blown off, and I brought it in the house, and the dog ate it. So I don't have that one anymore. Well, I do, but it needs repair. So I don't have one on the door. I probably will put this one out. And I think that, gosh, I haven't even really counted. I think there's probably 20 or so wires that I cut per each roll of net. I just cut more as I go if I don't have enough, so I really haven't counted. And this is something you can do while you're watching TV. Measuring is not something that I do a lot of. It's kind of by eyeball. And so far it's worked out okay. I got these off of Temu. They're cutters and they're really, really good. I like them. They're about $4, I think. And the wire isn't terribly expensive. It's $1 something for a roll, and there's a whole bunch of it on the roll. And there again, you know, like Temu is, you can find things on sale all the time. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at this. I probably have 10 or so. Now what I do, and this is what I'm going to tell you, I don't measure. The first one I take and put it through a few times so that it's like sewing it. And that's to keep the ends together. You just pull it around and twist it. And that eliminates the fray problem that you might have when you're working with it. So I always do this first. Now, if you were to measure, probably 7 inches. I kind of feel it with my hands. I can tell when I'm at a point where I'm going to tie it off. And I do this for the whole roll before I attach it. Oops, I undid it instead of did it. I like this color green. It's a really pretty one. It's with the, if your Dollar Tree still has any of the ocean stuff, this is in with the ocean stuff. It has in the seashore type. And if they don't have this particular color, they do have others. In the craft area now, they have quite a few of the um, net, different colors. And if making these little doodads is something you enjoy doing, it's a lot less expensive. Temu has it really well priced also, the netting. And I've got a whole bunch of big stuff, and I found that I really like the little stuff best. I bought a bunch of things off of someone that decided they're not going to do wreaths anymore, and I thought, oh, that's great. Well, I have enough to make 5,227 wreaths, and I know that, I mean, it's sitting over in the corner, and I got it some time ago. And I may use it all. I'd really hope that I do, because I think I need to. I need to be a good steward with what's given to me. And see, when I told you could, you can do this while you're watching TV, or it doesn't take a whole lot of thought. And when you get it done, then you have to pay more attention when you're attaching it. It's still not a terribly complicated thing to do. I think when you're incorporating flowers into it, that it's a little more complicated. It's still not bad, though. And pansies happen to be one of my favorite flowers. I think the colors in pansies are just gorgeous, that they exhibit lots of different colors in them. I suppose you can get pansies that are all one color. I like the multicolor ones. And I recall growing up with pansies. I know that my mom had planted, it was pansies and carnations and irises that she really liked. So I pulled a lot of weeds around pansies and irises and carnations as a little girl. There was a time when I really liked daisies too, and I do like it. I like all flowers. I truly do. And see, what you're getting is just a bunch of poofs. I'm about out of wires, so I'm going to have to cut some more. I was going to cut them all and do all this beforehand, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. Because then I get to sit and talk to you. Okay, got to cut more now. And your first cut, if it's a good cut, then you can kind of use this one to measure off the others that you cut. This one was a little short. It'll still work, but I'm going to cut the other one just a little bit longer. Are your kids and grandkids out of school? Peyton gets out the end of next week. Katie's got out this week. And I think I mentioned this before, but gosh, they get out the 1st of June and then they go back the end of July. They hardly have a summer vacation. I don't know why they do it like that. When you were a kid, didn't you have like 3 months in the summertime? I used to get so bored, and I was so glad when school started up again. And the kids barely have a chance to unload their books, and they're back at it. There was a time when I thought that year-round school was a good thing. I don't think so much anymore. I guess it wouldn't really matter if it was. I know Peyton likes to sleep in. I think I might have told you this, but gosh, even on the weekends, I'm up at 5, sometimes earlier than that, but I'm a morning type girl anyway, and I don't mind getting up early. But Hunter has decided that getting up at 5 is a good thing. So he'll stand there and look at me or jump in my lap or whatever he needs to get my attention. I've been using the non-poison or the non-pesticide flea control. I'm using a lot of it, but with that being said, I think it's working. I think that Lacey might be allergic to grass because she digs at her paws and stuff. So I'm going to look into giving her allergy meds and see if that doesn't square her itching away. But I brush, I use a lice comb, and brushing the dogs, I'm not finding bugs. And I was, so last year we had a horrible time with fleas. And we actually didn't have such a bad winter, so we're lined up for a really severe flea season again. And all of that, I just don't like to put poison on the animals. And they charge an arm and a leg for everything that you get. Even the non-pesticide stuff is not cheap. But I'm finding that there are recipes for stuff. And one of the common things, there's cloves, apple cider vinegar. Those kinds of things really repel them. So when I run out of this stuff, that's what I'm gonna try. And see if I can't just make my own. There are people that do all the time. it's easier just to get the spot stuff, but I don't know that it actually works that well. We end up with superbugs that are that develop what am I trying to say? They are resistant to the pesticide. So you end up having to treat them more than once a month. So that kind of exposure really bothers me. And their little bodies can't handle poison. I know I put the non-pesticide stuff on their necks as well, and boy, they just don't want it. They don't want to have anything to do with anything on their necks. So I imagine that, I'm just guessing, that the pesticides burn them. It may not, but they don't like it. And they can't tell me. Or at least they're not talking if they can. Sometimes I think they can. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. And I think 20 is about the right amount. I hear people out mowing the lawn. Jessie mowed my lawn. Bless her heart. She has her own lawn to mow too. Her lawn isn't as big as mine. I have over a third of an acre. I think it's 0.33 acre. It's a pie shape, so it's bigger in the front than it is in the back. It's really nice here. It's like living out in the country. When everything's in bloom and everything is green, you look out the front window and you feel like you're in a park. It's just beautiful. I truly am blessed to be where I am. But you know what? I'm blessed wherever I am. I'm truly blessed to be here until I'm not here anymore. You know, I want to be here as long as I can be. I know there's been more than one time that with my situations that my kids have thought about what they were going to do, because there was a point where I couldn't do. It wasn't very long though. Even after the spinal cord injury, I just, you know, I was just very, very blessed to bounce back and to relearn stuff pretty fast. I was in rehab for a month. And I learned how to walk. I learned how to use my hands again, and how to do the things that you need to do. I do things differently now, but I do them. And for that I am eternally grateful. Oh, look at that. I just have 2 more and I have 1 more to do. Now at this end I do the same thing with kind of sewing up the end. I do have a ribbon burner, and if you decide to make your wreath in a different way, you can burn the edges so that they don't fray as well. I just haven't, that's not the way I make mine. I tried a different way and I really didn't like the way it turned out, and it was hard. For me it was hard. And I think the last video I did with the wreath, I was showing you that way. So for me, this way is the best. It doesn't mean that there isn't more than one way to skin a cat, because there is. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is start working on this. And you see that there are bars here. I've been attaching to the bottom bar, and I'm going to attach this one to the middle to begin with. Let's see. And you put both through, both ends. And you twist it. And basically what you do is keep going. You know, you want them together. So it makes it frou-frou-y. And you see you've got your thing here. Now this one, the first one out is kind of tells you the way that it wants you to put it in. Once you're in the, once you have a process going, it just, you know where to put them. I wish I had some kind of magic thing to tell you, well, you do it this way and you do it that way. I don't. And there are times when I have to find the wires and stuff. But I can at least give you a view of how it goes. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. I know you can. When you're putting these in, you want them to be pretty close so that you have your loops. That's why it ends up taking so much, because you're kind of putting them in on top of each other. And I don't know if there's a way to do this where you don't have to use as much. I really don't. It seems like you use an awful lot of material. And you do, but it really looks pretty. When you're done, what's that? I've got to take care of that. Oh, this is the other end. I didn't put it. This is the end of the first roll. I'll have to burn those edges because I didn't put a wire in it. And you kind of follow it around. And I'm putting them in the first and the last. There are 3 places to tie on this, like one on the left, one on the right. What I'm talking about is right here, these edges. There's 1, 2, 3. And I'm not messing with the middle one so much. If I was just doing the oh goodness, what am I saying? The net, I would probably use the middle one. And you can fluff it out as you go. Do you have any plans this summer? Does your family go on vacations, or do you have things that you do in the summertime other than stay home? I'd love to know. And it doesn't even have to be anything you do now. Maybe what you did with your kids when they were young or whatever. When my kids were young, our vacations were in the back of a U-Haul truck. We moved a lot. When you're a single mom, it's hard, you know. That's why I wound up in the Midwest. Was because I got outpriced. It was just really expensive to live on the West Coast. Oregon is a beautiful state. And for years, Oregon has been taken over by people moving down from California, and Oregon and Washington both. When I first moved to Oregon, I wasn't looked at well because I was a Californian. People in Oregon didn't want people from California coming, but they sold their land to them, you know. There's only one way for somebody to get there. But California kind of changed the face of Oregon, politically and otherwise. So it it's different there than even when I lived there, what it used to be. I don't think that I would go back. I have to say that I miss the green an awful lot. I miss the green. And I miss the sea. I miss the fishing and that sort of stuff. There are waterfalls that you just can't believe. You come upon these places and there's nobody there but you. And it's breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking. The natural beauty is absolutely exquisite. Sometimes I don't know if I say things to you or not, but I think I did. I know with when I lived in Oregon, the thing that just never changed is being awestruck by all the green and the beauty. And there's something about the sea that just feeds my spirit. It's majestic and beautiful and tranquil and wild and there's something, I mean, you know, you can't, it's just crazy. It's so beautiful. I grew up in California, and even at that time when I was growing up, things had gotten so commercialized that, I mean, there's a lot of pretty stuff in California, but there's a lot of people there too. And in Oregon, and this is when I was there, and it's been a long time ago. I left Oregon in 1993, but you could go to a beach and not see another soul. And that was pretty amazing. And every beach was different. They have break walls in California. And now at the time that I was in Oregon, they didn't. And it was virgin surf. So you got a lot of seashells and things that you didn't get otherwise because they didn't wash up. When you have breakwalls, it's not the same kind of surf. And you go to one beach and the whole beach would be covered in black rocks. And then down the road it was white rocks. There was a beach called Agate Beach, and it had a water spout like thing where the surf would hit the rocks. and it beat the rocks into submission. Boy, it would. You could get like gemstones that were polished and beautiful because the surf had changed them. And you know what goes along with that too is that it can be really dangerous. There are a lot of riptides and things like that. And if you're aware of it and you stay on top of it, it's fine. Oh, another thing that I really love doing is there are what are they called? Lighthouses. A lot of lighthouses. And you can go and visit them. And being able to see people lived in them. And they probably still do. I don't know that they still perform what they used to. You know, I think that lighthouses were a beacon for ships to know where the rocks were so that they wouldn't go up on the rocks. And they have all kinds of electronic stuff that does that now. But gosh, it is just absolutely amazing what, where am I? Where's my wire? There it is. It's absolutely amazing what you can see. And I'm glad that my kids got to see those things. I'm really glad. There were a lot of things in the country that they haven't seen, but they did see the coast and saw how beautiful things were. Jessica still loves the ocean. And here, the Great Lakes are so big that they have their own wave patterns and stuff. And she loves going there because, of course, going to the East Coast would be quite a journey. And she can go to the Michigan sand dunes, Michigan shore. And I don't think it takes very long to get there. I think she can do it as a day trip, I think. I don't know that she has. I think that they've gone and stayed. And I think that that just really feeds her like the ocean fed me. You see, it's coming along. And you just keep tying on your net. And you wind up with a lot of wire in the back. I kind of twist all the wire together. And it's a good thing that you don't look at the back, because my backs don't look so hot. But you can clip the wires and twist them all together so they don't look so bad. And like I said, you don't have to make the wires as long as I do. I think I'm almost done with this roll. My nose is starting to react to the outside. Now when you don't have any flowers, you can use this middle one too. And I don't have any flowers right here, so I'm using all three. It kind of makes it fuller. And I don't know that there's any way to do this any quicker. There might be. I mean, you guys may be able to flip these out really fast. I don't. I enjoy having a chance to make something out of nothing. I enjoy sewing for that reason too. That you can take pieces of fabric that are nothing and make them into something. I guess I like that about anything that's artsy craftsy, because you start out with pretty much nothing. And it becomes something beautiful. I'm going to twist some of these wires back here to hold it in. It wants to travel. They don't want to stay close to each other. But it needs to, you know, in order to be fluffed out and stuff. You got to have them really close and fluffy. When I get done with this roll, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and do the next one, and I'll show you when it's done. Wish I did things fast enough that I could put out a video that shows you something from beginning to end. I think I can do that with stenciling. And Lord knows I've got a lot of that to do too. I really want to get these things done so that when stuff starts, when it's time to start showing things, that I can be ready. When do your craft shows start where you are? We can cut this wire a lot shorter. I don't even need it this long. But once I twist it all together and stuff, it should, I mean, it's not going to stick out everywhere. I'll fix it. This is the first time I've done one this shape. I kind of like the idea of it not being round. I need to really get my flowers going because, as you can see, one roll doesn't go very far. It's pretty though, isn't it? And I'll start flowers down this side too. And it's going to hang this way. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with the flowers. Thank you so much for being here with me. And thank you in general. You know, you support this channel. I've grown to depend on you being here. And it's really neat. If you've enjoyed the content. Oh, I don't want to flip this off. I flip off the camera. Well, I shouldn't say it like that, I guess. I flip the camera off of the tripod easily, so I have to be careful with what I do. If you've enjoyed the content and you haven't subscribed, I would invite you to subscribe. I'd invite you to like the video, and I'd like you to come back. Make a comment. Just be part of who we are. We have a lot of fun here. I can't say that I jump and dance or anything like that. You definitely laugh at that. But anyway, you have a wonderfully blessed rest of your evening. And I'll talk to you soon. Until next time.